Hey,
Hello there. How we doing?
good, good, good. How you? Yeah, I
Oh,
was
good, thanks.
I had to re-download Zoom because I had to make space on my phone, but
Ah, fair enough. I mean, people don't really use Zoom anymore these days, do they? That was a COVID thing.
yeah.
Just me now. So how you doing? How's your day been?
It's been really like slow because I worked late last night.
Yeah, yeah, fair
So
enough.
yeah, I've been tired. I'm going to an open mic night tonight.
Oh, nice, nice.
Hopefully they didn't pick me out on how bad I sing.
Do you do many open nights?
No, because I've been a truck driver, so I haven't really been like home to explore my area.
Yeah.
So now that I'm kind of trying to stay home, I'm trying to venture out into different venues and things like that.
Oh, brilliant. Now, I think you need to give me a bit of background about yourself. Like you've given me a few things, but not everything. So I'm wondering if you could help me like fill in the blanks. Give us a bit of
All
background
right.
about yourself, who you are, what your journey's been like. Yeah.
All right. So as Reese, the songwriter, it's only been about a year that I've actually gotten into songwriting. Like I had initially started like rapping when I was 20, but
Mm.
it's just for, the moment. It wasn't something that, like I was interested in like that. And then I got into TikTok about 2022, and I started doing a lot of duets and things like that. And I wasn't getting the views, I feel like I deserved because, lyrically, I feel like I'm pretty decent.
Yeah.
So I was just like, I might as well just use this talent and do full songs. Um, at least that's my background as far as like music. But personally, like I try to, I like sports and things like that, football, basketball,
Yeah.
um, chess. I'm trying to learn actually instrument, guitar.
Right.
Yeah, so like initially music wasn't really like my thing, but I got into it as like a bonding activity with my dad. He's the one who got me into music.
Oh, right, really. So did he get you into it when you were growing up, or was it kind of just a later on thing as an adult?
It was a later on thing. So when I
Yeah.
was 20, that's when, what I'm saying, I got into it because, with him. And then I
Nice.
joined a group called FCF and DCE,
Yeah.
which stands for Family Comes First for the FCF, and then the Commission Entertainment.
Right.
And I still keep in touch with them to this day.
Wow. I mean, it's quite interesting to meet someone who didn't have music kind of running through their childhood and even their teenage years, and it's actually coming to it as an adult. I can't picture what that must be like. So it must have been quite a big like learning curve for you.
Yeah, I'm trying to cram a lot, and it's a lot of background stuff they don't tell you about. So
Yeah.
I'm learning as I go, and then I try to ask questions to people who I feel have the knowledge that I need.
Oh, nice, nice. So I'm sure that there is some like musical background or like not background, but musical maybe inspiration from when you were growing up. So what inspired you? Who inspires you musically, either today or from the past?
The early Kanye
Yeah,
is my favorite rapper, and Ludacris, because they did something I like. Growing up in the '90s and stuff, is about lyricism
yeah,
and mostly street stuff, but that's not really me. So I'm more into comedy, and they infused lyricism with comedy, which is why they stood out to me,
yeah.
and that's why they're my favorite.
Oh, nice,
Um,
nice. Nice to hear a
on the
ludicrous
R,
shout
yeah,
out.
and then R&B wise, Trey Songz, Usher, Neo. Those are like the top three for me, and then Chris Brown, of course, and then
Yeah.
like MJ is a good artist. There's a lot of underground. Well, not I wouldn't say underground, but they're not as popularized as those names I've just mentioned,
Yeah.
like Mahalia, Lolo Zouai. Um,
You're just saying a bunch of words there.
yeah, Lolo, yeah, her name is I forgot what she is. I think she's like Swedish. I'm not 100% sure on that, but
Fair enough.
yeah.
It's
Los
nice
was a
that you're
good
into the
writer.
underground as well as, your typical, big inspiration. So it's nice to hear that you're into some of the underground stuff as well. Is there anything like today, like maybe more modern, that's inspiring you?
Um, Tove Lo, I don't know if you know who that is, but
No.
she's a great artist and a writer.
Right.
Um, it's kind of funny now because I have to re-listen to some people's catalogs because, when I was listening to it, I was listening to it as a consumer, not as a writer,
Yeah.
and that's why I kind of named my EP The Resumer because it kind of touches on that where you have the consumer's ear and then you have the writer's ear because the writer's looking for the technique, how you intertwine things like that.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of people's catalogs I have to re-listen to that I kind of shunned because it didn't sound good to me.
So do you find you're more like picking apart stuff now when you're listening to it than you were just as a casual listener?
Yeah, so now that when I listen to music, the first thing I listen for is lyricism. If it
Yeah.
doesn't have lyricism, is it marketable? Can it be played at a club,
Yeah.
depending on the genre of music? You know what I'm saying? Does it make you feel something? Like
Yeah.
those are kind of the things I listen to now when I'm paying attention to people's music.
That's nice. I'm at a point now where I can't listen to something, just put it on in the background because I will pick apart anything to do with it. Like not in a critical way, but like I've got music production background, so I'm just listening to the whole like songcraft. And it in a way it's kind of ruined it for me, just casually listening. But it
Yeah.
is nice. You do find you pick up on things that you wouldn't have just casually. Yeah. So how would you describe the music you typically create? I've heard rap, but in what kind of style is it? What kind of feel is it?
Well, I've only made one rap song. I rap on my
Okay.
songs, but I don't really make rap music, which is kind of like funny. But because like I mostly focus on pop and like R&B. But as
Okay.
far as what I do, I try to like play with words and I try to sneak comedy in wherever I can.
Yeah.
Even though some songs that may be serious, if I can and it makes sense, then I'll put it in there.
Nice.
But if not, I just keep it, on topic and, in the realm of the feel of the song.
Yeah. So the music that you choose, is that like samples that you're finding? Is it loops? Are you getting those from somewhere?
I'm getting most of the beats that I have are from YouTube.
Hey,
So
there's no shame. I mean, the whole rap, industry was brought up on like using samples and taking other things and turning it into your own. So that's fine. And I'm assuming you're doing the same thing for like R&B beats and things like that. So that's great.
yeah, but I do try to stay away from samples. I like to be as original as possible. That's
Okay,
another thing that I try to focus on as well. There's nothing wrong with samples. It's just that me personally, I want to, show that I can create on my own. You know what I'm saying? But
nice.
not as far as like the beats, because I don't make beats. I
Yeah,
just write, I just do the lyrics. That's it.
right.
Um, I tried making a beat before, and I don't have the patience to do it. I really don't.
Hey, I'd
I
say
mean, somewhere
persevere
down the
with it
line,
because you could do some cool stuff with making your own beats and even cutting up samples, whatever. But for the time being, if you're using things that helps you with the lyrics, then that's fine.
yeah, definitely. Once I get, in a position where music is paying for everything, then I
Mm,
could probably look back into, trying to make beats and things like that.
that's wicked, yeah. I mean, if you have people helping you do that, I mean, it's great. You'll go far. So, what's your creative process like then? Do you listen to some music and write lyrics based on that feel, or do you come up with the lyrics first and then find something that would match that?
So me personally, I go off the vibe of the beat.
Hmm.
9.5 times out of 10, I go off the feel of the beat. Now, what is kind of different is me listening to a beat and then making up a song, or me giving an idea and then trying to find the right beat for that idea.
Right.
That's where I would kind of say my creative process is as far as making a song. But
Yeah.
more times than not, I'm listening to a beat, I'm saying words that go to the feel of the beat, and then I'll try to create a concept behind that.
Yeah. It can be so much harder the other way around, can't it, sometimes? Especially like you're trying to find the right music for something. So Yeah, I can see
Yeah.
why that would be a nicer way to do things. So you said the EP is called The Resumer. Is that right?
Yes.
I don't know how that sounds from in a British accent, but The Resumer. Very nice. Um, so what's the background to it? You touched on it lightly. So what's the background to this EP?
So yeah, so the EP in itself is just a compilation of different genres,
Hmm.
and it's supposed to display my range of writing because I have a silly song on there with the phrase that I've coined in high school called butt burp. And a lot of people
Right.
a
Go
lot
on.
of
I'm
first
listening.
listen, and if I tell people, they're gonna be like, why are you making a song about butt burping? But and then I have a song on there called Apple Tree, which is more of like something that you would hear in a movie. It's more in depth. It's about being in an environment that's not positive for you to grow and be yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I have a song where I'm writing from a woman's perspective on there called On Guard.
Oh, nice.
And it's a compilation of my writing ability.
That's amazing. And what I'm hearing from how you're explaining the lyrics that you're writing, it doesn't sound like it's going for the low-hanging fruit, the easy stuff to write about. It sounds either quite funny observations, quite personal. Um, you've got a song from a woman's perspective. I mean, how 2024 is that? That sounds amazing.
It's not easy, I'll tell you that much.
No, no, but I mean
But
that's pretty good. I mean, I've recently had a run of EPs that I've listened to. They've been mainly like trap and hip hop, but still quite like misogynistic, for the time and everything, and or still talking about how much money they have or everything. I'm just like, can we move on? In some ways, like the industry's stagnating, it's staying still there. But so I'm always there for artists that will try and do something that's different that they might feel a bit worried maybe about putting out into the world because it's really personal, and I think that's really
yeah.
important. So yeah, I mean that sounds great. So who do you think would be interested in this EP? Who's it for?
Um, that's the thing. I don't know exactly who it's for, but
Yeah,
I try to write from people because I socialize a lot. I speak to whoever, and I try to make songs that I feel people can connect to for that demographic. So
yeah,
like Apple Tree, if some people are in an abusive, home or something like that, that's something they can relate to and use that to cope with their situation. Um, Butt burp is for people who want to laugh.
sorry. You
You know what I'm
keep
saying?
saying that word. Sorry. So that's I should expect funny for that, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Um, and again, that's a term I made in high school, and I just happened to hear the beat, and it was just like da 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 da. Da. So it's like it just like it clicked at first. I did it jokingly, and then I
Yeah,
was like, nah, let me really write something. And then I was just like, it wasn't going away, so I was just like, I'm gonna lean into it and just make the song.
nice.
But
Steering to the skid, yeah.
yeah, and then I have like not a big fan is it's kind of like a checkmate kind of song in a way where people are very critical of people's art
Yeah.
because they don't see things from their perspective, and it's just basically saying you may not like my music, but you're here listening to it while you're criticizing it.
Yeah.
So you're not a big fan, but yet you know what I'm saying, you're doing what a fan does. That's basically what that song is about.
Cool.
And
Very meta
yeah,
that.
so when I make music, I try to, what I'm saying, I think of a demographic and then try to add, little things in there that go within that line of their being or thinking.
Yeah. Well, I like that then. So each song has its own sort of little demographic. So that'll be interesting when I
Yeah.
listen to it to hear those kinds of things. So that's great. What would
And
you
then
say?
as a collective,
Yeah.
lyricism is there.
Yeah. Yeah. Fantastic. So what's your favorite from the album? That's hard.
Um,
That's always the hardest question.
yeah, as far as like listening to, I would say On Guard is my favorite. It's between On Guard and Gotta Run.
Yeah.
Um, but
Is
as
that
far as like,
on guard as in ONGUARD, or is it on
yes,
guard like a sword?
it's ONGUARD.
Good, just checking. Okay, cool.
Yeah, yeah. But as far as lyricism, I feel Apple Tree, the way the picture is painted and then the metaphor in it, you know what I'm saying? It really, I feel like it's probably one of my best songs as far
Yeah,
as like lyricism
nice,
within my catalog. It's definitely in the top five.
excellent.
But and then as far as concepts, not a big fan would be my favorite because of, like I said, people are very critical of people's art because they'll judge it on something based off what they're used to and not
Mm.
something new that's embraced and outside of the conventional realm of what they're used to hearing on the radio.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's a big thing these days, isn't it? You've got lots of independent artists out there, and if you don't sound like the commercial radio sound, you kind of get critiqued. But there are people out there who are trying to find like maybe songs that aren't as well produced and have that kind of, I wouldn't say like badly produced vibe, but like that sort of more unique, different kind of sound. So that's good. So if you could give people a reason to listen to your music, what would it be? What makes it different from other music out there?
Um, the person writing it,
Can be.
now,
It can be.
but what makes it different is just the fact of the topics that I touch on, and the way I put them together with the lyricism and the melodiousness of it.
Yeah.
I'm making words, right after. So
Melodiousness is good, man.
yeah, throw it in your dictionary.
Yeah. Pretty sure that's a
But
word
yeah, I
anyway.
try.
I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to check now. Oh dear.
But
Um,
yeah, I focus on melody, lyricism, and topics most people aren't talking about.
mm,
And what I'm saying, I feel like I do the best I can do for that instrumental.
excellent. Super. So you mentioned that you're going to an open mic night. Have you performed your music before, or is this like just tonight's
This
the
will be the
first one
first
of
time.
many? Really? Okay. They caught you
Like I
just
said, I'm
before.
not a singer.
Yeah.
I'm not a singer, but I have to, what I'm saying, I can't be in a corner and expect people to notice me. So
Yeah.
whether, they cover their ears or not, I gotta, let my presence be known.
Yeah. I mean, that's great. It's great that you're doing that as well. You're having an interview. You've just had some listening parties, as I'm right, for the album,
Yeah,
and you're going to be doing your first ever open mic night. This is a big day. This is a big day for
yeah.
you. It's huge. Wow. Okay. So what's your plan for release? How's it going to work?
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep like doing interviews. I'm gonna try to network with local people and because the end goal is really to be a songwriter for other people,
Yeah.
but me putting out music is kind of like my resume.
Yeah.
So it's not really to, become famous and things like that. But I mean, I do want to be known, what I'm saying, as a songwriter more so than an actual like recording artist.
Right.
So yeah, I'm just gonna be doing interviews for the most part and trying to see where I can get my music placed because I initially got into songwriting for sync licensing.
Right.
I don't know how familiar you are with are you familiar with sync licensing?
No. No.
So sync licensing is basically getting your music placed in movies, TV shows, video games,
All right.
commercials, things of that nature. So that
Yeah.
was I have some songs that are geared strictly for sync licensing, and then I do have songs that's just to listen to, and then I have songs that I made just for me, which are kind of like
Yeah.
silly songs. Um, like I have "Stay in the Night," which is out already. That's kind of a song like most of my silly stuff is for me.
Yeah.
Um, so it's not really meant to be taken like seriously or put under the microscope or anything like that. But it's what I'm saying, it's just different. It's not. I know my lyrics aren't going to be what people are used to,
Yeah.
and there are things I do need to work on as a writer, and I'm aware of that. But I try to write to the best of my abilities for every song, and I do take my time. I don't want to. I never try to rush something just to get it done.
Yeah.
I really try to see what angles I could attack it in. Um, One of my biggest things that I struggle with is the flow, like the cadence. How am I do it slow, mid tempo, fast? You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Do I hold this note out? You know what I'm saying? Those are little things that I try to work on
Okay.
and ad libs.
That's
But
cool.
with each song, it gets better and better.
That's good. You're improving your craft as you go along. That's what's important. And I like that you're saying you're taking your time on stuff. I have a habit of rushing. And I also like that you're putting out stuff for you because too often we get caught in our headspace of like, I'm making this for other people. And even in this interview, we've talked about the people we're making the music for. But for you, I think that should be number one, shouldn't it? At the end of the day, as long as you like what you've made, then if somebody else likes it, great. But if not, okay, fair enough. I have a
Yeah.
whole bunch of songs that I've made. I've just recently taken them off my Spotify and I've put them into Bandcamp as like my obscure stuff. So if anyone wants to hear that, it's all there, you know. But yeah, it can be interesting getting the balance right between making the weird stuff that you like making for fun and then also the stuff that you think people might enjoy. Um, so, what's your internet game like? How do you think the internet's impacted your approach to being an artist? Because we live in a very different world compared to like the 90s and the 2000s with, CDs and things like that. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So as far as like the internet, I do have a certain amount of followers, but it's not like a crazy amount. But that's what I'm doing now. I'm trying to get everything on the forefront. I'm gonna be utilizing it the best of my abilities. And it's
Mm.
a lot easier than going, person to person or standing outside in the sun selling CDs out your car.
Yeah.
So I could do it from the comfort of my home. I could hire a third party to do things for me,
Yeah.
so the internet does make as far as distribution goes, a lot easier.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's all about catching the right ears.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Yeah. I think everyone has it so much easier when it comes to promoting, making music, everything like that. But also then we're in this sea of like so many people that are also doing the same thing. It can feel quite overwhelming. I mean, the reason why I started doing this, my YouTube channel and speaking to independent artists was to get people to listen to my music. I was like, if I do it for them, they might listen to me. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah, we're all trying to do things to be seen and heard, aren't we? So, um,
yeah,
the internet's great for it though, because could you imagine making your own EP back in the 2000s? I don't think I could imagine that. It's not possible,
you
was
have
it back
to
then? No. So
have to create it, sell it
yeah,
yourselves.
yeah. So what's next for you then? So you're doing the open mic. Are you going to continue to make music? See how far you can go locally and also maybe internationally?
So yeah, as far as locally, I'm gonna definitely because where I'm at, it's a lot of different like bars and things like that.
Mm,
So and they have a lot of live entertainment. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to learn an instrument because a lot of places they don't let you come in with just like a CD or a USB with music on it, and then you're just singing up there. So I am going to keep networking with people. I've already got in contact with like two people,
mm,
and one person added me as a collaboration to add songs to the Spotify playlist for local artists. And that's something I'm gonna do. I'm gonna add like a song or two from the EP once it releases.
nice.
And yeah, and as far as internationally, um that's something I have to build up to. Oh, I did get in contact with some radio stations as well to try to see if I could get my songs played on there. They just told me it has to be FCC approved and things of that nature.
Yeah.
And so there's one song on there that's explicit, and it's only one curse word. I'm not too curse crazy when I make music, which is another thing that kind of my dad geared me towards.
Yeah.
Um, is to make clean music that's lyrically inclined.
Yeah.
So yeah, so hopefully once the EP releases, I could burn the CDs, get them to the radio stations, and hopefully a lot of people hear it and like it.
Nice. Nice. That sounds great. It sounds like you're doing a lot, which is awesome. So let's hope
Don't
that
need
some
help
of
though.
these things, yeah. So let's hope that some of these things like, help push you forward because it sounds like you're doing loads, which is great. So yeah, thank you for talking with me. It's been great. It's been a delight. And yeah, I look forward to listening to your EP.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
No worries. And now it feels so good to say hello, 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 hello,
Bye, ladies and gentlemen.